This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to ungoddamn desirable.
The American dream is dying, and Cody Rhodes might be the one holding the knife. Right now, across every corner of the wrestling world, one question is burning hotter than any championship reign, any rivalry, any storyline we've seen in years. Is Cody Rhodes about to do the unthinkable? Is the man who finished his story, the man who promised to make his father proud, the man who stood as the beacon of hope for every fan who ever believed in the good guy winning, is he about to turn his back on everything and everyone who put him on top? What you're about to witness in this video will change how you see one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling today. And if you've been following this journey, if you've been watching the cracks form, the tension build, the storm clouds gather, you already know something massive is coming. Something that could reshape the entire landscape of sports entertainment as we know it. So before we dive into this, I need you to do something for me. I need you to be part of this moment. Hit that subscribe button right now, smash that notification bell, because when this story explodes, and trust me it will explode, you're going to want to be here with the SLAMZONE family. We're building something special here, a community that lives and breathes this business, and I want you right here with us when history happens. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Cody's turning heel, or are we all being worked into a frenzy? Because what I'm about to show you, it's going to make you question everything. Let's get into this. You can feel it, can't you? That electricity in the air every single time Cody Rhodes walks through that curtain. The crowd erupts, the flashbulbs pop like lightning, and the American Nightmare makes his entrance with that confident stride, that million-dollar smile, arms stretched wide like he's embracing the entire universe. This is the moment he dreamed about since he was a kid watching his father work. This is the redemption arc we all rallied behind. The prodigal son who left, conquered the world, and came back to finish what his legendary father never could. But here's the thing that's keeping me up at night, that's got the entire wrestling community in absolute chaos right now. What happens when the dream becomes a nightmare? What happens when the hero realizes that being the good guy, playing by the rules, shaking hands and kissing babies, what happens when that's not enough anymore? Look at his face in recent weeks. Really look at it. Behind those eyes, behind that championship gold, there's something different. Something darker. The smile doesn't quite reach his eyes anymore. The swagger has an edge to it now, a sharpness that cuts deeper than any Crossroads ever could. When he cuts those promos, when he stands in that ring and talks about legacy, about his father's dream, about finishing the story, there's a bitterness creeping in. A resentment that's bubbling just beneath the surface, threatening to overflow at any moment. And the fans? Oh, they're starting to feel it too. You can hear it in the arenas. That unified roar that once greeted him is starting to crack, starting to split. Some sections still cheer with everything they've got, still believe in the American dream. But others? Others are starting to boo. They're starting to see through the facade. They're starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, the hero they've been cheering for is tired of being their hero. Think about the journey that brought us here. Cody Rhodes walked away from the biggest wrestling company in the world, bet on himself when everyone said he was crazy, built an entire promotion from the ground up, became the hottest free agent in the industry, and then made the impossible return. He came back with one mission: win the WWE Championship, the one title his father never held, and cement the Rhodes family legacy forever. And he did it. Against all odds, against Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes finished his story. The confetti fell, the crowd went absolutely berserk, grown men were crying in the audience, and Cody stood there holding the championship high above his head like he was holding up the weight of generations. It was perfect. It was beautiful. It was everything we wanted. But perfection doesn't last in this business. It can't last. Because at the top, there's nowhere to go but down, and everyone, and I mean everyone, is coming for what you have. The target on his back grew bigger every single day. Week after week, month after month, defending the championship against killer after killer. The wear and tear, the pressure, the expectation to always be the good guy, always shake the hand, always respect the business, always smile for the cameras. You can see it weighing on him. You can see the exhaustion in his movements. Not physical exhaustion, no, Cody's as tough as they come. This is something deeper. This is spiritual exhaustion. The exhaustion of carrying the weight of everyone's expectations while your own demons are screaming in your ear that you've given everything, and what has it gotten you? Watch his recent matches. Watch how he works. There's an aggression there that wasn't there before. A willingness to bend the rules just a little bit. A hesitation when the referee isn't looking, a calculated cheap shot, a hold that goes on just a second too long. Small things. Subtle things. The kind of things that make you wonder if you're imagining it or if you're witnessing the slow-motion transformation of a hero into something else entirely. And then there's the way he's been talking. The promos have changed. They've gotten more intense, more personal, more brutal. When he talks about his legacy now, there's a possessiveness to it, an obsession. He's not just defending his father's memory anymore. He's defending his own perception of what he deserves, what he's owed. Listen to the words he chooses. I sacrificed everything. I built this. I made the decision that changed the industry. Without me, none of this exists. These aren't the words of a humble champion grateful for the opportunity. These are the words of a man who believes the world owes him something. These are the words of someone who's one bad night away from saying to hell with all of it. The crowd reactions are getting more mixed every week, and you know what? I think Cody notices. I think every single boo cuts into him like a knife. Because this is a man who built his entire post-WWE career on the connection with the fans. The people chose him when WWE didn't. The people invested in him when the corporate machine cast him aside. And now those same people are starting to turn? That's got to hurt. That's got to make you question everything. But here's where it gets really interesting, where the psychology of this whole situation gets absolutely fascinating. What if the turn isn't about Cody becoming a villain? What if it's about Cody becoming himself? What if the American Nightmare we've been watching is the real Cody, and the smiling, hopeful, legacy-driven babyface was always just a mask he wore because he thought it was what people wanted to see? Think about his history. Before he was the American Nightmare, before the tattoo, before the blonde hair, before AEW, and the indie revolution, Cody was Stardust. He was playing a character, hiding behind paint and theatrics because that's what was expected of him. Then he broke free, reinvented himself, and became the symbol of independence and self-determination. But even that, was that really him? Or was that just another version of playing to the crowd's expectations? Maybe what we're seeing now is the mask finally slipping. Maybe the real Cody Rhodes is somewhere in between the hero and the villain, a complex, flawed, ambitious human being who's tired of being put in a box, tired of being what everyone else needs him to be. And real quick, if you're enjoying this deep dive, if this is making you see things differently, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, it genuinely helps this content reach more wrestling fans who love this business as much as we do. Share this video with your friends who've been debating this same question. Comment below with your theories because I read every single one and your insights are incredible. We're building something special here at SLAMZONE, and you're part of this family. Now let's keep going because this gets even deeper. The comparisons to his father are unavoidable, and maybe that's the problem. Dusty Rhodes was the American dream, the common man's champion, the guy who stood up for the working class and made them believe anything was possible. That's a hell of a legacy to live up to. That's an impossible standard to maintain. Cody's been chasing his father's shadow his entire career, and now that he's finally achieved what Dusty never could, winning the WWE Championship, what's left? What do you do when you finish your story? Do you start a new chapter, or do you burn the whole book and write something completely different? There's a very real possibility that the weight of that legacy, the constant comparisons, the never-ending pressure to honor his father's memory while also establishing his own identity, that it's finally breaking him. And when something breaks in professional wrestling, it doesn't shatter quietly. It explodes in the middle of the ring in front of millions of people, and the fallout defines careers. Look at the greatest heel turns in wrestling history. Hulk Hogan joining the NWO. Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon and shaking hands with the devil. Seth Rollins driving a chair into the backs of his Shield brothers. Every single one of them worked because they felt earned, because we could look back and see the breadcrumbs, the psychological journey that led to that moment of betrayal. With Cody, those breadcrumbs are everywhere. The frustration with the fans. The obsession with legacy. The increasingly aggressive in-ring style. The promos that sound more like justifications than celebrations. The way he looks at the championship like it's the only thing holding him together. All of it points to a man on the edge, a man one moment away from saying the hell with being the hero, it's time to be the king. And here's what makes this absolutely terrifying for everyone who loves Cody Rhodes as a babyface, he'd be an incredible heel. Think about it. The promo skills are off the charts. The in-ring psychology is elite level. The understanding of storytelling is generational. He knows exactly which buttons to push because he's been studying this business his entire life. Heel Cody wouldn't just be another bad guy. He'd be the bad guy everyone loves to hate. He'd cut promos that make you uncomfortable because they're too real, too honest, too close to the truth. He'd work matches that make you question who you should be cheering for. He'd manipulate situations and storylines with the precision of a surgeon, and before you knew it, you'd be hanging on his every word even as you despise everything he stands for. The American Nightmare becoming an actual nightmare? That's money. That's must-see television. That's the kind of storytelling that defines eras. But there's another side to this coin, and we have to consider it. What if we're all wrong? What if this is the greatest work of all time? What if Cody knows exactly what he's doing, knows that we're all sitting here analyzing every gesture and word, and he's playing us like a fiddle? What if he's building to something even bigger than a heel turn, something we can't even see yet? Professional wrestling is built on deception, on making you think one thing while something else is happening. Maybe Cody's leaning into the tension, into the uncertainty, because he knows it makes every match more unpredictable, every promo more intense. Maybe he's not turning heel at all. Maybe he's evolving into something more nuanced, a character that can't be easily labeled as good or bad but exists in that gray area where the most compelling stories live. The truth is, we don't know. And that uncertainty? That's what makes this so damn compelling. Every time Cody steps through those ropes, we're watching with fresh eyes, looking for signs, trying to predict what comes next. That's the magic of professional wrestling right there. That's why we keep coming back week after week. What we do know is this: something is changing. The Cody Rhodes who returned to WWE with tears in his eyes and hope in his heart, that version is evolving, transforming into something else. Whether it's a villain, an anti-hero, or just a more complex version of the same character, only time will tell. But the transformation is happening right before our eyes, and we get to witness it unfold in real time. This is where legends are made, not in the moments of triumph, but in the moments of choice. When the pressure is at its highest, when the path forward isn't clear, when everything you've built could come crashing down with one decision, that's when we find out who someone really is. So is Cody Rhodes turning heel? Will the American nightmare become the reality? Will the dream die and something darker take its place? The answer is coming, and when it does, it's going to shake the wrestling world to its foundation. Make sure you're subscribed to SLAMZONE, notifications turned on, because when this story reaches its breaking point, we're going to be here breaking it all down, analyzing every angle, every implication, every what comes next. Drop a comment right now. Tell me what you think. Are we witnessing the beginning of the greatest heel turn in modern wrestling, or are we all getting worked? I want to hear your theories, your predictions, your gut feelings. This is your community, your family, and your voice matters here. The American dream might be dying, but something new is being born. And whatever emerges from the ashes of Cody Rhodes' hero journey, it's going to be absolutely unforgettable.